I know that people say that you don't make money writing books, but they're wrong. I've made over $300,000 in profit publishing books. What I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to break it down, and yes, even you can be successful at publishing a book. If you guys are just joining me for the first time, I'm John from BulldogMindset.com. On this channel, I teach you how to be a man. I teach you how to do everything you need to do in life, including develop financial independence, to develop discipline, stop procrastinating, and really step up and be the man that you're capable of being. Develop that mental toughness that is so important today in society. Click the subscribe button and join us, and make sure you click the like, because it helps with the YouTube algorithm. Want to reach more people on this channel. I want to start off by telling you what are your options for publishing. Okay, so there's basically three options that you've got here. Three, guys. So the first one is traditional publishing with a publishing company. Okay, so this is how most people think about publishing books, and I've published books this way, right? I have my soft skills book where I published it through a traditional publisher until I got canceled on Twitter, which I'm republishing now. That maybe by the time you're watching this video, it'll be out, but I'm republishing it under my own brand. If you want to know how I get canceled on Twitter and all that bull crap, you can check out the video here in the cards and also in the link below. So that's number one, is you can do traditional publishing. Okay, that's basically you just go to a publisher, you write the book, they pay you some royalties, usually 10% or less on the book. But the real benefit you're going to get today from doing that is the exposure and then the credibility of saying that you were published by a traditional publisher, especially if it's known in your field. Okay. The next option is to do self-publishing using some formatting software and throwing the book up on Kindle. It's really simple, is that you basically format the book, you come up with the cover, you do all the work to basically publish the book, and then you can just put it up on Amazon Kindle. There's some other options. You can put it out there in some other distribution networks as well. Then the third option is that you can self-publish like a publishing company. Okay, so if you self-publish like a publishing company, then what you're going to do is you're actually going to put in all the work, right? So let me clarify. On the second one, when you're self-publishing and you're just doing some formatting and throwing it up on Kindle, you're literally just writing a book and you are making a Kindle version and you're putting it on the Kindle store, and maybe you do the automatic print version of it. Okay, you're not putting a lot of effort into it. You're not really doing a lot of marketing. Like literally you can just do that in a day and have a book out there. Okay, not the best option. The third one is self-publishing like a publishing company. When you publish like a publishing company, you pretend like you're a publisher and you go through and you do all the editing and you do all the copy editing and you make the cover and you format the text and you actually have a marketing campaign. If you do it that way, you're going to be the most successful. But those are the three options that you really have today. Okay, so let's talk about the process. So the very first thing you need to do is you need to plan out the book. Okay, what is the table of contents? What is the book going to look like? What is this book that you're writing? So you would plan this out. Okay, so if you want to write a book right now, plan it out. That's the first step. All right. The second thing is to write the actual book. Once you have a plan for the book, then you need to write the book. All right. I know this sounds pretty basic, but it's true. This is what you do. All right. Then the third thing you need to do is to hire an editor to edit the book. Okay, now there's different kinds of editors. There's a copy editor, okay, who's looking at the actual copy of the book, the actual grammar and structure of the book. There's a proofer who looks at the actual like typos and things like that. And then there's other like line or development editors. These are editors that look more at the structure of the book and look more at the way that things flow. And and you might not need all of these things, right? But this is generally what the editing process is, and you need an editor to edit this book. Next, you need to hire an illustrator if you have illustrations. Okay, I'd recommend for a lot of books that you just kind of skip this unless you really need illustrations, because it can be expensive and then it's just an additional step. But in many cases, it does make sense to have some graphs or charts or some illustrations in the book. Okay, next you need to hire a cover designer. Okay, so you need a cover for the book. All right, so what you want to do is you've got a few options here. Fiverr is a really cheap way to get covers. It's probably not going to be the best professional cover, but you can hire a few different people off of Fiverr. 99 designs. I've got a link for them probably here. And I actually did the 99 designs for this book, for the Complete Software Developer Career Guide. And I tested all the different designs. And this one actually won out. It had the best sales, so you can do that. Or you can hire a professional book cover designer and just pay them to design your cover, okay? But you want to have a well-designed cover. It's really, really important. There's another book that I published through my Simple Programmer company, Remote Work, right? You can see the elements of this cover that are important is the words. You can read these words. That's really important. Okay, that's one of the most important things because people are looking at books on Amazon store like little thumbnails, and if they can read it, that's going to help you a lot, okay? Next, you need a book formatter, okay? So when you have your book, you've got to make sure that it's formatted for print, if you're going to do a print version, and for Kindle or, you know, e-readers. Now, possibly you could use a printer, all right? I'm using print-on-demand services. So, for example, with this book, it's printed on demand. My other book is printed on demand as well through Kindle. So it used to be called Create Space. There's Ingram Spark. There's a lot of options. Or you can just run a print. Okay, you can do a print run of like 2,000 copies from a printer. It might be cheaper, but then you're going to have 2,000 copies. And you're going to have a logistical problem. I'd recommend print on demand for the most part. Okay. Now, another thing to consider is an audio version of the book. And for me, I'll tell you, audio versions of the books sell better than any other version of the book. So I think it always makes sense, pretty much, to make an audio version of the book. Okay, and if you do that, you're either going to need to record the audio yourself, which is probably not recommended, or hire a voice actor, okay, and then an editor to edit the audio, okay, and then you can upload that up to Amazon's ACX. That's not really hard, but you need to get the audio and all the chapters in there, okay? And then finally, the last step is to market the book, okay? And this is one of the most important steps, is that you need to actually go out and market the book. It's not just, you know, again, like I said, a lot of people just write a book, they make a Kindle version, they throw it up there, and they wonder why they're not making any sales. And the reason why is because they haven't gone through this whole process, like treating this book as if they are a publisher, and then actually marketing the book. Now, when you market the book, it's really important that, you know, if you want a book to be successful, you have a good audience already. If you don't have a good audience, you're probably not going to make a lot of money from the book. You know, I'm just being honest with you here. So, for example, I just launched this book, Remote Work by Will Gant, okay, with under Simple Programmer. Go check it out if you're interested in working remotely. I'll put a link below. But what I did for this launch is I had a launch campaign where I had people on my email list become pre-launchers who would basically get an early copy of the book and review the book and leave a review on Amazon and buy the book on launch day. And then I sent emails to my entire list and audience, and I made YouTube videos talking about the book, right? We did a lot of things to launch this book in order to make it successful, right? Now, an alternative approach, okay, is to use BookBaby or other services, right? So for this remote workbook, what I did was, instead of going through and hiring the copy editor, well, I still had to get the editing done, but instead of hiring the cover designer and the formatter for the type and the print version of the book and trying to find the distribution and who's going to print the book, I went to BookBaby. So you can check it out. I've got a link where you can get a slight discount on BookBabies, or if you want to check out BookBaby and see that custom publishing, it could be worth it, right? For $1,800, I'm pretty happy with the result. It worked out really well, and they have a wide distribution network. So I'll put a link here if you want to check out BookBaby. There'll be a link in the description as well. So last thing here, guys, some questions and some hints here that I got. So one of the questions I get is publishing on Amazon worth it if you have no audience? And my answer is basically no. If you just throw a book up on Amazon, even if it's a good book, even if it's a good title, it's probably not going to do well unless you have an audience, okay? So you're going to be a lot more successful if you can send an email to 80,000 people and tell them to purchase a book, okay? If you need to build an audience first, all right? The other one I was going to say here, and I talked about this already, is audiobook is almost always worth it. A majority of my sales come from audio. So if you're going to write a book, if you're going to publish a book, make an audio version. Think about that ahead of time. And then the last thing here is, like I said, spend time to market it properly. And if you do that, it's going to be worth it. If you're not going to spend the time to market it and do it right, you're not going to make a lot of money from the book, right? It's going to be like most people say. Like I said, I've made over $300,000 in profits from books, and it's because I've done these things. Almost all the books that I create end up becoming a bestseller, and the reason why is because I spend all this time making sure that I do things the right way, especially on the marketing side of it. So guys, also, if you want some help with this, I do offer some coaching. I have a few coaching slots open. If you click the link below, there'll be a link where you can contact me for one-on-one coaching. If you're trying to launch a book and you want some help, some guidance from someone who's got experience doing this, I provide coaching in a lot of different areas, but that's one of the areas that I do offer some coaching. Guys, let me know. Do you have any questions? Do you have any feedback? Any comments? If you're publishing a book, let me know about it, and take care.